Have you ever wondered why we enjoy watching horror movies? Why do we pay money to watch people being chased by killers in the dark, knowing full well it's just a movie? This is a survival response known as the fight or flight response. This response is triggered by the amygdala, an area of the brain that processes emotions, specifically fear. The amygdala activates the hypothalamus, which then sends signals to the body to release adrenaline and cortisol, the fight or flight hormones. The suspense and anticipation of what might happen next keeps us on the edge of our seats. The suspenseful build-up to these scenes also plays a role. When the suspense is at its peak, our brain is flooded with adrenaline and cortisol, the fight or flight hormones. But once the scary scene is over and we realize we're safe, our brain releases dopamine as a reward for surviving the experience. This dopamine rush is similar to the one we get when we eat delicious food or listen to our favorite song. It's almost as if our brain is being entertained by the horror movie. And when we finally see the scary scene, our brain gets a surge of dopamine, the feel-good hormone. This is because our brain is essentially being rewarded for overcoming the fear response. Ultimately, horror movies are a fascinating example of how our brain reacts to fear and suspense. From the physiological changes that occur when we're scared to the psychological response of vicarious learning, there's a lot going on in our brain when we watch these movies. So the next time you find yourself on the edge of your seat during a scary movie, remember that it's not just the movie that's scary, but also the journey your brain takes us through. We know it's fake, but our brain still reacts as if it's real. And when we realize that we're okay, it releases dopamine as a reward for overcoming the fear. These hormones trigger various physiological changes, including increased heart rate, rapid breathing, and heightened state of alertness. This is the same reaction our body has when we're in actual physical danger. This means that we learn from the mistakes and experiences of others simply by watching them. In the case of a horror movie, we may learn to fear certain things or situations simply by seeing how the characters react to them. For example, if we watch a movie where a character develops a fear of spiders, we may start to feel anxious around spiders ourselves, even though we've never had a bad experience with them before. Well, turns out there's a reason for everything. And with a little psychology, we can break down exactly why horror movies are so captivating and how they affect our brains. So get ready to have your mind blown as we explore the unknown. Things that go bump in the night. Fight or flight. When we're scared, our sympathetic nervous system kicks into gear. So when we watch a horror movie, the amygdala activates the hypothalamus, triggering the release of adrenaline and cortisol. But in this case, it's all for a fake, non-existent threat. It's almost as if our bodies think it's real life. This is because the movie triggers the same fear response in our brain as a real-life threat would. However, it's important to note that this response is not conscious. We don't actually believe that the threat in the movie is real, but our brain still reacts as if it were. The science behind this is fascinating. The amygdala is essentially a small, almond-shaped structure deep within the temporal lobe of the brain. It plays a crucial role in processing emotions, particularly fear and anxiety. When we encounter a threatening stimulus such as a scary movie, the amygdala activates and sends signals to other parts of the brain, including the hypothalamus, triggering the release of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. In the case of a horror movie, the amygdala is essentially being tricked into thinking we're in real danger when we're not. So why do we seek out this scary experience? Well, it turns out that we actually get a kick out of it. But it's not just the jump scares that get our brains excited. But it doesn't stop there. Watching horror movies can also trigger a psychological response known as vicarious learning. So not only does watching horror movies give us a thrill, but it can also teach us new fears and anxieties. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching.